switches before the next one begins, or are they switching quasi-independently, or do you have the ability to see in that third dimension and say something about that?
Yeah, so yes and no, Andrew. So so very clearly we're dealing with the boundary condition, right, in the switching. So we'll have to deal with this question one way or the other. Can we see it directly? So that's a question, for example, for electron microscopy. So far it's not abundantly clear because the sample prep issues could get in the way, but we are hopeful that this is going to be possible. One thing I didn't mention is that if we increase the temperature to the ionic conducting region and do the hysteretic measurements on it, we also end up with a hysteresis. But if you look at the wild scale bar, this is 15 nanometers. So there's this hill that grows under the tip and comes back into the layer. This hill is composed of pure copper, as we believe, so we can pull it out and reversibly redissolve it back in the system. And so we are playing with that now to see what effect that has on electric switching.
Thank you.
Peter, so D33, you can also write it in different way, like E33, another piezo equation, which relates strain and polarization and elastic compliance.
Right.
So if your D33 is negative here, do you have an idea if it's the E or elastic compliance which is negative?
It's E33. E33 was also, we started with E33, elastic compliance also came out without too many anomalies from the computer, but we don't have an independent measurement of elastic compliance, so there was always this indirect link, so we preferred to go with E33. And also that allowed us to account for the residual stress in the phase coexistence, because since we're doing it at the same strain, one of the phases ends up being unhappy. So we wanted to quantify that, so we went to stress-strain relationships, and it was great.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So two questions. One, maybe you addressed these and I missed it, but did you say anything about the electronic structure? Like, is it a gap? Is it leaky or not leaky? You know, that kind of thing.
So 3.3B.
That's good. Okay.
Very non-leaky, very intrinsic. So far we haven't seen any sign of leakage. And this is another interest from the 2D community, that this range of thiophosphates is about 350 compositions known. And they close the range between mortar disulfide and boron nitride. So anywhere from 1.6 Cb to about 3.5 through a combination of MOT and band insulators. This one is a band insulator.
And maybe you said this also. Have you looked at thin layers of this, monolayers?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So now that is a point of sort of controversy, right? So we looked at the monolayers, or I should say, flakes, and observed the disappearance of ferroelectricity at about 10 nanometers. So that's 12 layers, something like that. And of course, it's kind of a letdown moment. But now that we know that it has a quadruple well, we have to really take care of the boundary conditions before we can pass the judgment. We actually interpreted it as existence of almost a conducting surface, and that's just a pure hypothesis, because even 10 nanometers is pretty challenging. But there is a report out there which claims down to 4 unit cells, I believe. And so it's very interesting, and we have to obviously keep looking at this in detail to see. Detecting ferroelectricity in those regimes becomes progressively difficult, as this community knows very well, right? So things to come. Okay.
Okay, I think we have
To stop now and move on, and thanks again, Peter.
Thank you.